You're listening to After the Review.
After the review.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is After Review. I'm your host, Peter. Gonna be just me today, so I hope everyone's having a nice Tuesday, election day here in the United States. I hope everyone got out and vote and maybe take your mind off all the hectic craziness for half an hour or so. Listen to this pod because we got some hot takes coming at you for sure. And I want to start with this one. Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. This doesn't work. I know they're 5-2, but they got absolutely bullied by my Minnesota Vikings on Sunday. Bullied. I just don't get it. Minnesota's defense is atrocious, and they could only manage 8 points in the second half after scoring 2 for 2 on possessions in the first half. I know, let's say that. They only had 2 possessions in the first half, both teams, and it was 14-14 at half because everybody was going on long-ass drives. But still, Aaron Rodgers needs help. Davante Adams is the only person on this offense that he trusts, and it's the only person that this offense runs through. Aaron Rodgers had to throw the ball 41 times again on Sunday. Minnesota's defense is not good. I mean, they were giving up 4 points. They were giving almost 5 yards a carry to the running backs, and they still only ran the ball 20 times. Like, what's going on here, Green Bay? You're not physical up front. You rely too much on this finesse passing game. And yeah, Aaron Rodgers is going to put up his numbers. But again, I know we've talked about this before. If Aaron Rodgers is ever trailing in a game, he has a below 500 record. And this is supposed to be a guy that leads you to victory, dominate the game, be afraid, be scared. And it really wasn't that. I mean, Green Bay had a turnover on downs and a fumbles in the fourth quarter. And they had a turnover on downs and a punt in the third quarter. So they had 8 points and 4 turnovers, essentially, in the second half. That's not good enough. And then you let Minnesota go 4 for 4 on offense for touchdown drives to start the game. Dalvin Cook with 4 touchdowns. Like, Dalvin Cook ran the ball 30 times for 163 yards. And they got bullied up front. Minnesota's offensive line is the 3rd lowest rated offensive line in PFF. And how are you going to let them bully you? They're weak. They're small up front, and you couldn't use your interior line to push them around. I just don't understand that. Kirk Cousins threw the ball 14 times. Let's not get this twisted. There was no threat of the Vikings throwing the ball on Sunday. They lined it up and said, you guys are soft. And they were. And that's really got to worry about you as a Packers fan. How is this team supposed to compete in the playoffs when it's cold weather, tough physical teams that can usually run the ball, usually play defense? How are you supposed to make a run at this thing? I just don't understand how you can trust this team. And everyone, I know I'm being a homer here maybe, everyone loves the Packers and Aaron Rodgers. But what have they done? They don't beat good teams at all, ever. They got totally pushed around by Tampa Bay. They now lost to the Vikings. It's like, what are you guys doing? And the schedule ain't going to get much easier for Green Bay here on the back end, I don't think. I mean, they've got a pretty soft schedule to start. I think they're an inflated, overrated team. Now, they're getting lucky here. They're getting the Niners, who are pretty much decimated up front. They got nothing left. But then you get the Jags week win. But you got the Colts. You going to handle the Colts? I don't think so. The Bears, that's a physical team up front. Probably going to outscore them. And then you get the Titans and the Bears again. Like, I don't know how they're going to handle it. They're not a physical team. I mean, the only thing you have to look forward to is that the division is so weak. But how can you honestly tell me you feel good about the Green Bay Packers right now with the setup they have and the way they looked on Sunday? I would just be panicking if I was a Packers fan. How are you going to beat Seattle? How are you going to beat Tampa Bay again? I mean, shit, I don't even know if you can beat Philly. And they look terrible sometimes, Philly. I never know if Philly's any good. So it's got to be extremely worrying. And I think Aaron Rodgers and this front office, their draft was a bust last year. Matt LaFleur's first draft with the Packers. They have 0 players that are playing right now that make any sort of impact on this team. Aaron Rodgers is 37 years old. He's not getting any younger. And he needs help. And it's clear that their offense only runs through Davante Adams. And once teams kind of figure that out, they can't do much. It's easy to play keep away from this team too, as Minnesota showed. You just can run the ball all over them. I would be almost panicking if I was the Packers. It would be red alert time right now. Yeah, you're going to win the NFC North. Probably you're not getting a bye, and you're probably going to get bounced in the first round against a team that's physical. I'm going to be honest right now. They need to find some toughness. They need to find another skill position player. It's just a lot of stuff. So I'm very bearish on the Green Bay Packers. I think they are a little bit of a fraud team, like I said earlier. I don't think they got it. Don't expect much from them in the playoffs, but everyone's going to give me shit for this one because, it's the Packers. Oh, you're being a homer. Nah, I watched that game. Minnesota's not good, and they dominated that Packers team. Pretty pathetic from Green Bay, especially at home in Lambeau against the Vikings. Not good at all. Okay, let me switch to this. Baltimore and Pittsburgh. Probably the game of the week everyone was hyped up for, and it was a great game. I was so surprised how well Baltimore could run the ball against Pittsburgh. This Pittsburgh defense was the best rushing defense maybe like ever in the NFL. They had some insane numbers running the ball, stopping the run this year, Pittsburgh. And Baltimore ran for 265 against them. They ran all over them. They outgained Pittsburgh by 200 yards. But again, it comes to the thing that I talked about earlier, and that's Lamar Jackson. I don't think he's it. He's clearly regressed. Lamar can't throw the football, and teams are going to make Lamar throw the football. He was 13 of 28 with 2 touchdowns and 2 picks. That's not good enough, Lamar. Like, seriously, people have this figured out. He can't throw the football. He has an ugly throwing motion. It's an awkward arm angle. He's not accurate. He threw a pick 6, that essentially determined the game on the 3rd play of the game. They lost this game by 4. Once you can't run the ball in the red zone against teams and teams make you throw the ball, can't do it. And it's really, I know people are going to be like, oh, Lamar, he was the hotness last year. He's not been good at all this year. And it's maybe he's been exposed and we've reached the upper limit of what Lamar Jackson can do as an NFL quarterback. These were the issues of him coming out of college. He run for 200 yards. He couldn't throw the ball at all. He was a 55% completion guy in college. And yeah, he's gotten a little bit better, but when you're playing great teams like Pittsburgh, the game things are too fast. You can't sit there and process decisions. You have to make quick reactions. And Lamar just doesn't be able to seem to do that, especially when it comes to reading defenses and throwing the ball. We saw it with Josh Allen this year. Josh Allen was on this meteoric rise that we thought, MVP type guy, and now he's regressed back to what he was. So maybe eventually everybody is who we thought they were in the NFL. Scouts get paid lots of money, and they're more times right than wrong about guys. And it's really put up or shut up time for Lamar because this is 4 or 5 weeks now where he's not played good after he hasn't really played good since after week 1. And the book's out there on what to do to stop this guy. And you dare him to throw the ball. And he has not delivered right now. Now, I hope Lamar can get this figured out because honestly, he's great for the league. He makes things so much more interesting. But seriously, dog, he can't throw is the problem. And, you're good enough to win football games in the regular season. It's not good enough to win a Super Bowl. And I know the Ravens have aspirations of Super Bowl title. They have to seriously consider what they're going to do with this offense. Are they going to go full, triple option, college style, Navy, Army, just pound the rock and throw the ball 6 times a game and just hope you hit on big plays? That's the only thing I could think. Hollywood Brown had 1 catch for 3 yards and a touchdown on Sunday. What is going on? Hollywood Brown is one of the fastest receivers in the NFL. How are you not able to stretch the field and work the ball downfield to him? I don't get that. And it's really put up or shut up time for Lamar, I think. I think the MVP may have been a fluke year. I'm not totally sold on Lamar yet, but he's really got to get this thing going. They're 5-2, yes, but you see what this is. When you're going to face games like this in the playoffs, they just come up short every single time. They can't beat good teams. They can't beat physical teams. They can't beat teams that dare you to throw the rock. And now the defense has been playing good, but they kind of let them down late. Pittsburgh scored 21 points in the second half. It's not a great look. This is the first time Lamar's actually lost a game with the lead, and that's very, very concerning because they're great with the lead, and they're really bad when they're behind, and now he just got beat by a good team, very good team, with the lead. This is a major red flag, I think, for Lamar Jackson. On the flip side, though, if I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, I am freaking ecstatic right now. Team is good. They're very good. I didn't think Pittsburgh would be this good this year. Big Ben's playing very well. He's still a little loose cannon. He's probably the worst part of their team. They need to establish a little bit more consistent running game. Passing game's good. They got 2 great receivers. I mean, Juju, Chase Claypool has come on really big this year as a rookie. They're getting the ball to the tight ends, too. Ebron had a nice day with 48 yards and a touchdown. So they're working it. They're a little banged up now, Cam, on the defense, which is a little bit concerning. Cam Hayward may be out for the year with an injury. So that's a little bit concerning for them up front. But TJ Watt's Defensive Player of the Year right now. Minka Fitzpatrick, who they traded a first-round pick for last year, top 5 corner in the league, completely shut down, lockdown guy. And I think that was a great trade that goes underrated. Mike Tomlin's coaching his ass off. We kind of saw this last year, the first time where he really had to coach with a bad team, and they got to 8-8 with Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph at quarterback, which is kind of impressive. And it's fully rolled over into this year. They look good, Pittsburgh. Clearly, I think the favorites in the AFC North now. Gotta love what they're doing in Pittsburgh. Big Ben surprised me a little bit. He is a little bit of a gunslinger. I mean, Jesus, it's like he's the guy. I think I told Scott last week. He's the guy who looks like he's had 5 beers before the game, who's a game manager and says every once in a while he just says, screw it, I'm slinging the rock downfield. So they're going to have to get that under control, I think, Big Ben in his older age. Steelers are a legit threat in the AFC, though, right now. I probably have them in my top 3, probably 3, maybe 2. But real scary stuff in Pittsburgh. Let's stay in the AFC North so I can do some Baker hate. Cleveland lost to Vegas at home 16-6. Now, the weather wasn't good, but the weather wasn't good for Vegas either. And Baker Mayfield was terrible again. 12 completions, 122 yards, couldn't really do anything. Oh, Baker. You love to see it. I mean, everyone was all on the Baker train. Oh, he could throw 5 touchdowns, but he only threw for 297 against Cincinnati. That's cool. Cincinnati's defense is mediocre some weeks. They were good this week against Tennessee, but yeah, when things aren't perfect for Baker, he can't be good. He's a middling quarterback. He's up, he's down, he's left, he's right, he's good, he's bad. He's not a number 1 pick. He's an absolute game manager. You have to surround him with weapons. You have to give him easy, short throws. I hate the problem with Baker is he has such an attitude and cockiness, like he's elite, and he's crap. The team is crap. This is the first time the Browns have won 5 games, in like 2 decades? I mean, Jesus, they're 5-3. They're the 3rd best team in their division. They're going to struggle to get into the playoffs now. Vegas has the tiebreaker over them. Vegas is 4-3. The Browns are really in trouble here on the outside looking in. Now, I do believe the Browns have the 3rd easiest schedule according to the schedule rankings left. So, I mean, that's a positive for them. But how far are they going to take that? I don't trust this team. Kevin Stefanski is a young head coach. I do like what he brings to the table. I think Baker's out there, though. I think they're off of Baker completely. They didn't draft him. New GM. They spent a first-round pick on this guy. They are not in love with him. They're going to be looking for a new quarterback, and there are guys out there. Imagine Matt Ryan on this team. Matt Ryan could be definitely more than a game manager with these weapons, and he can get the job done, winning games, pound the rock, do stuff, play defense. Defense is playing a lot better in Cleveland. They need a little bit of help on the back end. They probably should trade for a safety. I would have said take Anthony Harris from Minnesota, but who the hell knows what Minnesota's doing now that they've won this game. They may believe they're in it, especially with the weak schedule coming up. So I don't know who's going to be out there for Cleveland. They do have a bye this week, and then they get the Texans. So that's a game they should win, but that's really going to be make or break season. If you lose that game to Houston coming off the bye, that's a disaster, I think. Yeah, I'm looking at the schedule right now. You got to play both New York teams. That's not tough. You get Pittsburgh and Baltimore again. Those are 2 losses. Tennessee probably a loss. The Eagles probably a loss. So you may be looking at only 2 more wins here, or 4. You may be looking at 4 wins. So we're looking at 9 wins for the Browns this year. Don't know if that's good enough to get in the playoff, Cleveland. I'm sick and tired of the Baker Mayfield fandom. I was right from the beginning on Baker. He's so overrated. He's not the number 1 pick. He's fine. He's a starting quarterback in this league, but he needs to tone down this cocky attitude because he don't play like it. He does not back up his talk with his play. He does 10 million commercials. Get off the damn commercials. You're way funnier in the commercials, and you should be focused on being a good football player. Do these commercials in 2 years, bud, when you're an all-pro. You know? Like, come on. Pat Mahomes didn't get on commercials till he won a damn MVP in a Super Bowl. You know, let's bring it back down to earth, Cleveland. You're the Browns. You're like the Cowboys, but way worse. Everybody talks about you, but you win nothing. And it's freaking hilarious. It's such an annoying, group of supporters that they have on there. Win something, Cleveland. All this talk, no backup, ever. It's just so ridiculous. I know I'm shitting on the Browns right now, but it's hilarious when you're cocky, arrogant, and you're bad. Who does that? It's laughable as a franchise. Now, I believe in Stefanski. I think they're going to clear out some of this locker room crap, get rid of this nonsense. I don't think they have the right guy at quarterback. Definitely need to get a low-maintenance, kind of low-tier guy for this town and just live with the run game, play defense, and that's how you win in that division, especially with Pittsburgh and Baltimore. You're not going to win with this high-flying offense over there in cold weather, playing in the snow from November 1st on. Yeah, Jesus, so... everyone's going to have bad weather games, but you're going to have bad weather games, and you're going to have to deal with it and learn to play with it, Cleveland. So I don't want any weather excuses for Baker this week. I knew he was going to be bad. It was very predictable after that win against Cincinnati that they would be flying high. Congratulations, you beat a 2-5-1 team. You're so good. It's just bad stuff. I'm not going to go... Okay, I'm going to go in on the Cowboys here for a second, and it's not really the Cowboys' fault. It's Jerry. It's time to come clean. I think Jerry needs to step down. He's overpaid so many players that are just not productive for his team. Zeke Elliott, what does he do? He does nothing. Tony Pollard is running the ball better than Zeke does. He actually runs through the hole. Zeke looks slow. He got the feed me tattoo. He looks like he certainly fed himself over the offseason because he is moving like molasses. He is slow, can't run. Everybody can catch up to him. I know the offensive line's completely banged up. You got no quarterback now, but you weren't doing good with Dak. Let's not kid ourselves. You had a massive comeback against the Falcons. Ooh, the Falcons, they can't hold a lead to save their life. And then I don't even know who their other win was against. Shit. Oh yeah, against the Giants. Ooh, you beat the Giants by 1 point, and Dalton came in that game. So frightening. Mike McCarthy and his coaching staff is horrendous. You got to take a mulligan on this. You need to tank, Dallas. You can keep Dak as your quarterback. You need to get rid of these pieces that are too expensive. You got to rebuild from the offensive and defensive lines. You're got to get rid of Amari Cooper. You got to get rid of Zeke. I think you're overpaying these guys. You got to get rid of DeMarcus Lawrence, Jalen Smith. They don't produce anything near the amount that they're paid. And I know Jerry loves his guys and stuff, and he doesn't want to admit he's wrong. But it's time to come clean, Jerry. You really botched up this head coaching hire. Mike McCarthy clearly can't coach in the NFL anymore. He lied about watching film. That's just like a red flag day one. It's a disaster. You need to blow this thing up. Another team, Super Bowl aspirations look terrible. And I get the injury argument for Dallas, but everybody's injured. Name me a team in the NFL that doesn't have massive injuries everywhere. Everyone's dealing with bad injuries because of the no off season, the shortened training camp, weird schedules going on, missing practices for COVID. Everybody's got major injuries. So I don't want to hear this as an excuse. It's really time to move on. I think Jerry needs to step down and retire. You need to let Steven take over this team. You need to do a better job managing the cap. You need to rebuild the interior lines and just kind of start fresh. And then you can roll with Dak if you want, but Dak needs to be realistic on his pay to help this team out because I don't think the Cowboys are close anymore. It's a real shame. And you can tell Cowboy fans are finally fed up with this because I've been talking to enough of them. And they're absolutely they don't even care anymore. And you never see that from Cowboy fans. Say what you want about Cowboy fans, they suck, but they're a passionate group of people, and they're always involved in their Cowboys. Good or bad, they watch them, and they'll have no qualms about it. And now I just hear they're disinterested. They just turn the games off. And that's a really, really bad sign for Dallas, if I'm looking at this. That should tell you all you need to know is Cowboy fans don't even care anymore. That's a real worrying sign. Hopefully you keep this tank going. The problem is the division's so terrible. You're going to find your way maybe into 3 or 4 wins. Who knows, and not have a top pick. But maybe you'll get lucky. Maybe you'll be bad. You can draft a new quarterback if you want to move on from Dak and just completely start over. You can maybe trade a high pick and pick up a couple other picks to put around some offensive linemen and stuff. Because the team is old. The team is beat up. They're way over the cap for what they're getting production out of on guys. And I think they just need a complete fresh start. It's not saying much. The Eagles, who beat them, looked terrible. The Eagles looked mediocre as can be. Carson Wentz, another guy who's all over the place. He was terrible. He wasn't good. I don't know if Carson Wentz knows when he wants to be good and when he wants to be bad. It's just, I don't know with him. The Eagles are going to win this division, I think. Carson Wentz is all over the place. He's up and down. He drags a bad team around, though, most of the time. I mean, shit. Travis Fulgham is the leading receiver in the NFL since week 4. So, and Green Bay cut him. Yeah, I bet they wish they had a guy. So maybe that says something that he's doing it. Hopefully Miles Sanders coming back, Dallas Goedert coming back from Philly, and Carson Wentz will play better. But, man, I see some things where Carson Wentz just rolls out, takes sacks, there's nobody even there, and he's like, he doesn't even look like he's paying attention. It's very confusing to me what I'm getting out of Carson Wentz. Yeah, I just don't know what to make of the Eagles. They're going to win this division probably, but are they going to win a playoff game? Maybe. I'd be very surprised if they did. Just a weak division. The Giants are coming on better. Giants looked better last night on Monday night against the Buccaneers. Tampa Bay did get the win, though, because that's what Tom Brady does. You play bad, you still come out with a win. Antoine Winfield Jr. with a great play at the end of the game to seal the game and avoid a 2-point tie. But that's what they do in Tampa. They win. I think they were looking ahead in New Orleans. It's a game I'm very interested in. We got Sunday night, New Orleans at Tampa Bay. Antonio Brown's going to be on the Bucs. Michael Thomas maybe going to play for the Saints. Who knows? That team seems like a completely train wreck with the locker room. I don't know what the hell's going on. Michael Thomas be practicing Thursday, Friday, not playing. It's like, what, dude? There's something going on. I think it has to do with the Drew Brees statements before the season about the flag and the protests and all this stuff. And Michael Thomas didn't take kindly to that. He's very outspoken about that. And you can't guard Mike. Mike can't shut up. I mean, all Mike Thomas does is talk. And he's real salty about it. Drew Brees threw the ball okay in Chicago in the bad weather. And there's a huge issue in this locker room. Maybe losing all these playoff games this late is finally catching up to them. They're 5-2, but I really don't trust them to win this division. I mean, maybe, I could be wrong. And, here comes Tampa Bay, and they beat the Buccaneers, and I'm completely wrong here. But I think the Saints are kind of like the Packers. They're a fraud of a 5-2 team. I mean, the only thing that's good is they can run the ball with Kamara. But hey, if you just press up their receivers, blitz Brees, and guard Kamara, that offense is going absolutely nowhere. So I need to start seeing people double up on Kamara, key on him, don't let them run short routes, and then bring pressure on Brees because he ain't escaping it. Their O-line's not great. Their defense is not as good as last year's. Not getting the pass rush you expect out of New Orleans. Cam Jordan maybe getting a little bit up there. And the secondaries, I mean, Marcus Lattimore is not the all-pro corner he used to be just a few years ago. He's kind of just a middle-of-the-tier guy who you think is good, but, man, he gives up a lot of catches. I'll tell you what, just watching that game, he let a lot of guys run right by him. So I don't know what's going on with New Orleans. That locker room's a dumpster fire. The Bears, who they beat, another 5-win team that I feel false of. I don't feel good about any of these high-win teams, really. I mean, you're winning games, but the Bears have zero offense. How do you trust Nick Foles? Like, what? I mean, they looked a little bit better this week, but come on, they can't run the ball at all. How are you gonna win if you can't run the ball? Nick Foles is gonna carve you up? I don't think so. I mean, the only thing you can rely on is Khalil Mack and that defense. Okay, but what happens if they have a mediocre game one week? You're gonna lose. I don't know, false teams. The Bills, another 6-2 team. I'm completely off the Bills bandwagon. They're a Cam Newton fumble away from losing this game. Cam Newton was going into the end zone before he fumbled with 30 seconds left. They were about to lose at home against a Patriots team that has nobody on it. Josh Allen has regressed, like I said. He's bad again. 6-2, though, good for the Bills. They're probably going to win this division now, but good God, they're just so frustrating. I don't understand the Bills. They play zero defense. They can't run the ball consistently. They can't throw the ball downfield. I think Stephon Diggs is any second away from blowing up and losing his damn mind on this team because we know winning does not satisfy this man. He needs to be getting the rock, and he needs to be making all the plays because that's just how he is. So, yeah, another false team I don't believe in. The Dolphins, watch out. They've won 3 in a row. It was Tua time. I don't know what to make of Tua yet. Tua was kind of like, They didn't have to do much. The special teams and defense completely dominated the Rams. Rams are all over the place. I've seen them get beat up so many times. Just another, there's a lot of mediocre in the NFL. I haven't even talked about the Chiefs. They destroyed the Jets. What else is new? 5 touchdowns from Mahomes. He's a freak. I think the Chiefs are the best team. Their defense is scary good these days. They've been very good since week 15 of last year. Top 5 in the league, in fact. So I feel like there's 3 good teams in the NFL. 4. I'll give you 4. I feel like there's 4 really good teams and then a bunch of mediocre crap in the middle and then some really bad. Like the Buccaneers, the Seahawks, the Chiefs, and the Steelers. Those are my 4 teams that I trust week in and week out. Everybody else, who the hell knows? I've seen every other team get smoked. Indy, maybe there. Vegas is coming on strong. The Titans lost again this week. That's 2 in a row for the Titans. He lost to the Bengals. Was it a trap game? I don't know. It's just so... I don't know. It's a weird year in the NFL. I can't get my finger on necessarily who's doing what. I mean, Minnesota lost 2 games on the last play of the game. No time left. I mean, one of those games go their way, and they're totally in this thing as a playoff team. Both of them go their way. They're a top team. So who the hell knows with any of these teams? It's just... I don't know. It's very interesting to watch. And teams that are tanking can't even tank right. Like the Falcons beat the Panthers on Thursday night. You're supposed to be tanking. You need a new coach. You need a new quarterback. Trade Julio. Trade Matt Ryan. You're not doing anything by winning games. You're just hurting yourself. Arizona's an interesting team I want to watch. They were on a bye this week. So they're another interesting team to watch. But, God, there's a lot of bad in the NFL. Let me just take a look at the standings right here. Really interesting. Yeah, like the NFC West is good. It's the 4-4 Niners are in last place. Everybody else got 5 wins, 6 wins. But I don't trust the Rams or the Niners at all, really. The Cardinals, they're a young team. I don't know how much I can trust them. The NFC East is a dumpster fire with the Eagles in first place. NFC North, who the hell knows? Just a crapshoot. The Vikings could make a run here. Their schedule's weak. The Lions could do something. I don't trust the Bears and the Packers. NFC South, 2 crap teams, a team in New Orleans I don't trust, and the Bucks, which I really trust. NFC East, same thing. I mean, there's just so much mediocre out there or bad. I can't trust any of these teams. I don't even know who's going to get in the damn playoffs. And normally I got it pretty locked in this late into the season. I can kind of figure out what the moves are going to be, who's getting in, what I can expect out of them. So at least it should be a fun, kind of wild finish to the season. We're at week 8, so next week will be the halfway mark. Everyone will have played 8 games. So I'll probably break out a power rankings next week just to rate some teams and some tiers, and it's going to be ugly. I don't know what to make of that stuff. Yeah, NFL, interesting stuff. Keep track of. Let's move over to college coming up. We have a massive game in college this weekend. Number 4 Notre Dame, number 1 Clemson in South Bend, and Trevor Lawrence is not going to be playing again. He did miss this week's game because of a positive COVID test, and he's not going to be playing against Notre Dame, which is huge implications for the college football playoff because, I mean, this man is the number 1 pick in the draft. Easy, unanimous, no question about it. And Clemson really struggled for 2.5 quarters without Trevor Lawrence. They got it together, but still, and I think... I could be overstating Notre Dame. Their run game may not be the best. Their pass game may not be the best with Ian Book, but their run game's solid. They play pretty good defense. It's just Notre Dame's beating up on people that they don't normally beat up on, and so I have some faith in them. I just don't know what to expect. As an Aggie fan, I'm rooting heavily for Clemson here because I don't need Clemson to have a loss to number 4 Notre Dame. Notre Dame runs the table, wins the ACC, and the college football playoff says, oh, well, Clemson didn't have Lawrence. We're putting Clemson in as the 4th seed. Because I'm trying to get my Ags to sneak into that 4th seed. If we win out, I think we're going to get in with 1 loss. I'm very optimistic about that because we're going to jump Cincinnati. We're probably going to jump Georgia, I hope. And we're right there. I can smell it. We're right on the cusp of the making big things. Another team to watch out, Indiana. Big game against Michigan this weekend. I like what I've seen the last 2 weeks. Michigan really let the ball slip against Michigan State at home. I think Harbaugh's done. I know I like Harbaugh. I've defended Harbaugh, but maybe time to go. They seem to not be able to get a quarterback. Just really tough. There's no more excuses for him. I mean, of course he can save the season if he beats Ohio State, because everybody can save the season if they beat Ohio State. I just don't think it's going to happen for them. He's got a contract to next year. They probably let him play this contract out. And if he doesn't, he walks. But, yeah, things are not looking great in Ann Arbor. The Big Ten, such a power conference, just kind of laughably bad. Ohio State's going to run away with this thing. I would be shocked if Ohio State lost to anybody. So Ohio State's going to get in. Maybe they should get punished for having only playing 8 games when everyone else is going to play 10 or 12 or 10 or 11. But it is what it is in a COVID year. You know, it'd be like that sometimes. Another good game to watch, Florida and Georgia. This is going to decide the SEC East and who's going to get to play Bama. Very interesting game. Florida hadn't played in 2 weeks, and they were a little slow against Missouri this week, but then they picked it up in the second half. I kind of like Florida in this game. I don't know with Georgia. I don't know about their quarterback situation. You know, they could have had Justin Fields from Ohio State playing for them, but they chose poorly. And so, very interesting game. The winner of this game is going to get Alabama in the SEC title game and a crack at the playoff. I'd love to see Florida win just because that helps A&M. And I would like to see a new team. Georgia already got their crack at Bama. Let somebody else get a crack at Bama. I do think Bama is the best team in the country. Mac Jones is really carving it up. Maybe Clemson, but I'm a little less sold on them on what they look like against Boston College. Maybe it was just the punch in the mouth without having Trevor, and the defense just let it slip a little bit in the first half. They were stronger in the second half, but I don't know. It's very interesting to see. College football has been very, very fun to watch this year just because everyone's kind of all over the place. The Big 12's eliminated from a playoff spot with Okie State losing to Texas at home. Can't put any of those teams in. They all have multiple losses, and they have bad losses, so can't put any of those teams in. I mean, we're looking at a playoff 5 team. I think we're looking at 6 teams here that are getting in the playoffs. The winner of Georgia-Florida is getting a shot at it. A&M's going to have a shot at it running the table. I don't think Cincinnati's going to get a shot if they run the table the rest of the way. Notre Dame, Clemson, obviously, both are going to have a good shot. And Ohio State. And I think that's about it. I would be surprised by anybody else making a push in there. It's just, I don't think teams have the schedules to make to make a jump like that. I mean, you're going to put, maybe BYU? I mean, that's it. Wisconsin hasn't played enough games to get in. Yeah, I just don't know there. There's a lot of undefeated teams, but it's a lot of bad. I mean, you have teams that have never been in the top 25 ranked right now, like Liberty. Liberty is 25. What? Liberty, let's see, Marshall, Coastal Carolina, all ranked inside the top 20. A lot of weird stuff going on in this Corona year with college football rankings and teams. So, should be fun to watch towards the end. I know I'm hopelessly optimistic about my Aggies, because I got to be a homer every once in a while. I really do like their chances on the table. They look strong this weekend. Kellen Mond doesn't have to do too much. They win football games. You love to see it. But again, 2 big games, Clemson, Notre Dame, Georgia, Florida. Check them out on Saturday. Very big college football playoff implications. I'm going to be glued to the TV to watch those because I really want to see what Clemson can do without Trevor Lawrence. If they could beat Notre Dame, oh boy, watch out. I might be changing my mind on who the best team is because that's pretty impressive. And, I mean, the young kid looked good at quarterback, but still, it'll be a big difference playing on the road at Notre Dame than playing home against Boston College. So, yeah. What else this week? Shout out to the Dodgers. Dodgers did get it done last week. Like we said, Game 6. Questionable move by Kevin Cash pulling Blake Snell, who was absolutely dealing. Man's a Cy Young winner, and he's in the 6th inning with 73 pitches, and he gives up his second hit to the 9-hitter, and you pull his ass in a 1-0 game. I don't get that move. I know you've won all year with your bullpen, but Jesus, this guy is a Cy Young winner. He's done it before. You gotta ride with it sometimes. And this goes to the analytics versus, I like my analytics. You gotta use analytics, but don't let it dictate your moves. You gotta have a feel. At least go out to the mound and talk to him. The 3 batters he was supposed to face, I know was the heart of the Dodgers order, but they were a combined over 6 with 6 strikeouts against him in their 2 previous at-bats between the 3 of them. Like, that's insane. Let the man pitch. If he gives up another hit to Mookie, then you can go to the bullpen. But, come on. It's just, playing scared, and that's why they lost. So congratulations to the Dodgers on the World Series. Had a little bit of controversy with a positive COVID test mid-game, because of course we did. 2020 for you. But other than that, it was a great run for them. I feel good for them that they finally got their title. So shout out to the Dodgers. Feels good. LA City of Champions, Lakers and Dodgers. Rams were looking to add to that, but I don't think they're going to have it. So, yeah, I think that's going to do it for us this week. Remember, I hope everyone had a nice day out there. Try and relax. Maybe give this a listen. And try not to think about the other things going on in the world right now. I know, hectic day. I hope everyone got out there and voted. I don't care who you vote for. As long as you vote, do your civic duty. And, yeah, we'll see you all next week.